straight from the realm of all things gaming. Everything Noob starts now.
Welcome once again to another episode of the Everything Noob podcast. It's episode 138, and we are here. I'm Vortec, joined this evening, as always, by Miss Jemmy, Mr. Dreadlow.
Not always, but most of the time.
Most of the time, these two show
What's
up.
up?
Sometimes it's just me sitting alone, talking, crying in my bedroom.
Is that really a podcast then?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that episode of Family Guy where Peter Griffin's like, "What? Have you been listening to my podcast?" And Joe's like, "It's just you listing a bunch of hats." He's like sitting in his basement next to a microphone, like, "I like fedoras." Like, he's listing hats.
Oh,
Who
jeez.
likes fedoras?
But our podcast is about video games, and it's slightly more interesting, I would say, than hats. I don't like hats. I'm not a hat guy.
Really? I love hats.
I'm not a hat guy. I wish I was a hat guy. I think I could pull off a fedora, but now it's like this thing that's super douchey to do, so I can't
Well,
do
I'm
it.
not necessarily a hat guy, but I wear one.
You could do a visor with like a headset.
Ugh, no, that looks like a tool.
Yeah, I know.
So I could see
But it
wearing
would
that,
look right on you, like on like the set of something. It would look right.
I guess. No, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. We're here to talk about video games, and today we have a few things we're going to discuss. First and foremost, we're going to start the hyping episode 140. I know it's, I'm sorry, episode 240? What episode number did I just say we're on? We haven't done the show in so long.
138?
Yeah, okay, 140. For a second I thought we'd done like 200 episodes. No.
No, that would have been a lot more.
I know it's not episode 150. We'll probably do something bigger for that. But episode 140 coming up here in a couple episodes from now, we want to do something different. So we're asking you guys to start sending us your questions for a Q&A episode. Usually I don't want to say usually because we've only started doing this just recently. But we're going to start asking you guys a lot of questions throughout the show, hoping that you kind of comment and engage. But we never really ask you to ask us questions. So this will be a little bit fun, a little bit different. So go ahead and start doing that now. If you go to everythingnoob.com, you can hit the contact page, and there are like 3 different ways to contact us. 4, really. You can call or text our Google Voice number, which goes straight to a voicemail box. You don't have to worry about us answering it and going, "What is it?" or sleeping. And you can also just leave a message like in this form we have there. And SpeakPipe, I checked it. It should be working. Someone told me it wasn't working, but I checked it today, and it looks like it's fine. It's this tab that comes up on the right side of the screen when you're on the contact form, and you can click that, and you can record a voice message right from your computer, and we'll get that. So all those ways you can contact us. You can also leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. You can leave a comment if you're looking at the show notes on the blog. Leave a comment there. All kinds of ways to ask us questions for the Q&A. And we're going to start jotting down your questions, and then episode 140, we will answer them. So that should be fun. Also, this episode and future episodes to come, we are going to start giving away random indie games. So if you want to be entered to win a random indie game, this week we are asking you to tweet us using the hashtag noobingout. Was that the hashtag we decided?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hashtag noobingout. N-O-O-B, noobing out. What have you been noobing out on this week? What game have you been playing? Tell us, and you can tweet everything at everythingnoob with the hashtag noobingout, and you will be entered in a drawing to win a random indie game from our grand old box of indie games.
It is a Steam game.
It is, yes. Thank you for clarifying that. I always forget. It is a Steam game. You get a Steam code from us. We will send it to you. So there you go. And yeah, why don't we dive into the meat of the show after about 5 minutes of nonsense? So there's a lot of little news stories, and I was going to say, I'm like the only Wii U person here, aren't I?
I want one, but yeah, I don't keep up with it. Don't have one.
I'm strictly PC. I can't even
So-
hold a controller. I don't know how.
So none of us, the only one who should be excited about Super Mario Maker is me, but none of us are really super excited about Mario Maker.
What is Mario Maker?
What do you think Mario Maker is?
I think it's the old school Mario Paint on Super Nintendo.
Oh.
I'm thinking more like you get to make your own maps of, say,
Bingo.
like, oh, I got it right? That's what it sounds like to me. Like you can make your own, basically your own Mario level.
I'm all rude
Super
to
Mario
Jenny.
level.
What do you think
Okay.
it is?
You're too old. Get out
So
of
I
here
was
with
right.
your bad old ideas.
I won. What indie game do I get? No, I was kidding.
Sorry, Jemmy. I feel bad now.
Don't. I mean, I knew I was wrong, but it was like, that's the only thing I can think of.
It was a shot in the dark.
Yeah, you can make Mario maps using like the game from I think the way it looked in the 80s up until how it looks now. You can use like all these different basically items they give you to build your own Mario maps.
That's cool.
It's
Well,
something
people have been doing that though, like on the internet with like hacks.
Yeah, well, actually, there are RPG makers and things like that where you can make some really old school Mario clones or whatever.
Yeah.
And people have done that, but
This
nothing
is like,
official from Nintendo like this, though.
Yeah, this is like mass, like public thing now, which is awesome because Nintendo. The one thing I don't know about it, and I could probably just research real quick, I don't know if you can share those maps other than like playing them on YouTube.
Oh my god, I really
Knowing-
hope they do better sharing than they did on Smash Brothers, because that was
such a missed opportunity.
Here's a map of how to create the map for yourself.
I know.
Why can't I just like 5-star vote and like the best ones will kind of bubble to the top, and you know, you keep an eye on them and get rid of the ones that have phalluses.
Yeah, that was a huge missed opportunity, and Nintendo's always been super family friendly. So anytime they give people the tools to make something for themselves, they're afraid people are going to draw a dick with it. And
So we can't post it online. Oh, how about like even just like a parental code where it's like you cannot download maps or even look at the library unless you ding 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 parental code in.
Exactly. So I'm seeing people talking about sharing things, but the whole internet's all about sharing things. That could mean anything from share a picture to like make a YouTube video. So I don't know. Let's see. Real game designers reveal how to create the best Super Mario Maker levels. See, people are sharing ideas, but I'm not seeing like if I just search for like Super Mario Maker online sharing. Oh, online sharing. Create Super Mario Bros. Levels and share them with the world in Super Mario Maker. I'm going to assume, this is a wall of text, but I'm going to assume that they're saying you can go online and share these. Either way, it's out. I don't have it. I'm excited about the idea of it, but I have Little Big Planet, and I'm not good at it. And Little Big Planet offers way, 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 way more infinite possibilities than Super Mario.
Oh yeah, I remember a video you made of that, and it was a really cool little level you made, I guess a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
So
and you decided to play it now, or recently, not too long ago. You made a video of it.
Something I am excited about, though, that Nintendo is licensing and Nintendo is making. I don't know if you guys saw. I know Jemmy did. I watched it with you.
Oh yeah.
Pokemon Go.
I'm like so excited about it, but at the same time, I feel like that commercial is misleading.
I think I'm excited about it for way different reasons than I think the general public is. But what Pokemon Go is for Dreadlow and everyone else who doesn't follow, Pokemon Go is supposed to be an augmented reality where, just based on the one trailer we've seen that's been going around YouTube, an augmented reality where Pokemon could be hiding anywhere in the city, anywhere on your hike, and you have to like hold your phone up and it'll like, oh look, there's a Bulbasaur hiding behind a rock.
Oh, now that's gonna be cool.
And you can catch him. So the reason I'm excited is because I love the idea of a Pokemon game in my pocket and then being able to meet someone else who has it and be like, oh, do you have an Electorb? You know, I don't have one. And they're like, well, if you have a Caterpie, I really need one. I'm like, you're dumb. Trade me.
Trade me.
Who is going to be... No, that is going to be the mystery gift that is just like Caterpies ahoy.
Yeah. Well,
now,
I think people have been waiting for a Nintendo licensed cell phone Pokemon game for a long time, ever since like smartphones became all the rage.
Uh-huh.
And this is perfect because the one problem I always had as a kid is trying to trade people and stuff. Like, it was so ridiculous. I never had a cord with me to plug in my stupid Game Boy to their stupid Game Boy, and they wouldn't have theirs because we'd be at school and didn't think of these things. And just, I don't know, I didn't have a lot of friends, so that sucked. Then the internet comes along, and then I'm not interested in Pokemon.
I also feel like if you live in a population-dense area, you're going to get a lot more out of Pokemon Go than somebody who lives out in the sticks.
So I wonder if this is going to be on Windows Phone.
Because, like, the group battles, like, I think about where I live, and I'm like, well, maybe if I day trip it down to the city, that I could do that.
That was weird. Yeah, I don't know what that's going to be like, because, yeah, it showed, like, Times Square, and people are gathered around looking up in the sky at this epic battle that no one else can see unless they have Pokemon Go, and Mewtwo appears, and everyone is throwing Pokemon at Mewtwo, and they're all fighting Mewtwo together.
Everybody got a Mewtwo.
But, like, if you hold up your phone, you can see what's going on, I'm assuming, and, you know, you can be like, okay, I'm going to throw my whatever at Mewtwo, and then people
everybody
as a
sees
group
this...
can take it out and then get Mewtwo for themselves.
So they see the same thing then. It's not just... Like, if you look and
That's
somebody
what it's
else
alluding
happens...
to.
Okay, and somebody else next to you has the same app or whatever and looks at a tree, say for instance, and they're going to both see the same Pokemon like
that
behind
means
the tree.
we're going to have GPS location on for Pokemon Go. Like, I feel like that's going to be mandatory for the app.
Could be. If they're
A lot
planning
of
stuff
dead
like
batteries.
Oh no! Now you're gonna see hacks to like goof with your phone's GPS and have you located in an area you're not in.
that. Oh. Ugh. I don't know. I'm thinking that it's really ambitious. But in the way technology and gaming is moving, and we're seeing more and more innovations in like virtual reality and now augmented reality, I think their timing is almost spot on. Almost. We haven't seen, and I could be way incorrect about this, but I personally haven't run into any kind of like augmented reality device that's available to the mass public yet. I know it's happening. I know Windows is trying, but I haven't seen anything like that, you know, that for mass consumer use. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just hasn't happened. But we're almost there. We're getting there. Definitely with cell phones. The one thing I've seen that's pretty cool. Have you guys tried watching any 360 videos on YouTube? Try watching a 360 video on YouTube with your phone someday. It's actually really cool. You can take your phone, watching the video, and then if you move your phone around as if you want to look around that room, the camera moves with you.
Oh, I don't. Ew. I don't know if I'd like. I mean, it'd be cool, but
it's gimmicky right now.
Yeah.
Conan did a bunch of shoots with it on some of the episodes of his show.
You would need a 360 camera, which
Yes.
is like a little ball thing that
Yeah.
you place in the center.
They had a 360 camera on the stage at the last show. They did a bunch of shows from Comic-Con, and on stage they had a 360 camera, and they gave audience members like Google Cardboard, so they can put their phones in their faces and then look around. And those audience members were seeing from the stage, and you can look in 360 degrees, up and down, didn't matter. You could see camera crew like sitting there shooting, like coming.
Oh,
You could see everything. It's really gimmicky right now. Like there's no reason for that. It takes you way out of the show, you know. But one implication that I did see that I loved, there's a Star Wars video where it's fully animated. And you are basically a droid. You have no control over the droid, obviously, but you're seeing through the eyes of this droid, and you can look all directions. So at first he's in like the scaffolding, and then he goes down, and Darth Vader is entering the Death Star. And so you're like just driving around this droid, and it's that scene where Darth Vader's just walking through rows of stormtroopers, and the droid is just cruising through the legs of the stormtroopers. Meanwhile, you can look wherever you want. And then I think a stormtrooper or Darth Vader or something sees you and kicks you across the room. And that's the video. It's like a minute 30 seconds or something like that.
Oh,
but
wow.
It's really cool. Like you're there, you know, and you get to just move your phone around to look around the room. And if you don't have a phone, I think you just click and drag the screen on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I can see places where the application for that would be needed, but I would say for the most cinema story experiences, I wouldn't want that as an artist
Yeah.
because you don't have control of what the viewer sees then.
It would have to be a very tailored thing, something that really the only reason you would make it is because 360 camera. I
Well, no, there's
mean,
things like virtual tours and
I was
stuff like
just
that.
gonna say that. Yeah,
later.
marketing. It'd have to be like marketing materials at first would probably take the most advantage of it. I think they already are.
Animated movies, like the one you mentioned, could even like if they were like supposed to be like a cutscene or something. I could see take advantage of that.
You could do a lot of fun things with like, can you find this thing? Like, and you're riding on like a mine cart in Minecraft, and it's like, can you find the whatever?
The
And
Where's Waldo?
yeah, like
trivia.
where's Waldo, and you have to like look around, and you could miss it. It could be behind you, and you're not looking.
Oh my god, you know what this reminds me of? That you so fucking hate?
Oculus
Pokemon
Rift? Oh,
Snap.
yeah. I was about to go into Oculus Rift already does it, and then you said that reminds. I'm like, I don't hate Oculus Rift. But yeah, Oculus Rift does that, and your phone does it too, which is really cool. But yeah, Pokemon Snap, I think you just took the joystick and like moved around to what you want to take a picture of, and meanwhile something could be
but you're,
going on
like,
over
sitting in
here.
the car just riding along, and then you just like look around, take pictures.
Yeah, I understand that 360 video takes up a ton of hard drive space.
I bet it is a huge file.
Yeah, I mean you're recording at every angle imaginable in that one spot, and then if you have that camera moving, like,
Oh yeah,
man,
that would be.
it's like having tons of cameras recording onto one source. I mean that, luckily we're in like the age of terabytes now. Like if you don't have a terabyte hard drive,
Yeah.
you're a fool.
Oh.
You're a fool.
Well, I do have a terabyte. It's just an extra hard drive. It's not the main hard drive.
Yeah, I think I have a 1 terabyte internal and 2 terabyte external, and it's not enough.
Oh yeah, I have another external that's a terabyte. So I have lots of erroneous hard drives.
Lots of terabytes.
Lots of space all over the place. Like I'm a hoarder of hard drives.
So yeah, there's some news stories for you. We've been trying to tailor the show more to community things. Something I wanted to talk about. We didn't do a show last week. We're still trying to get back in the groove of things, but that's why we're kind of like talking about doing a Q&A show and asking you guys more and more questions. We really want to make the show more community based. We don't want to focus so much on news stories. We just want to have a conversation. Honestly, it was getting kind of tiring looking at news stories all the time. So we didn't do a whole lot of research. But one thing, I wanted to bring you guys a hypothetical. I love talking about hypothetical situations. There's a Totalbiscuit video where he discussed indie games. And basically, there's an indie game out there that didn't do so well. And an article was written about it, on how it didn't do well, and how disappointing it was for the developer, and how they put all this work into it. And he basically talked about how, well, now the game's doing great because it has that coverage. But other than that, it wasn't doing well, and there are tons of games out there like it that just, he was basically saying in the video, you can make a fantastic game, you could do everything right in terms of marketing, and people just don't care. And he kind of brought up the question, like, people are saying indie's doing great, indie's doing fantastic, and that's just based off the success of things like Minecraft and just indie games that in recent history have done very, very well. But for every game that does well, there's 100 more that don't go anywhere. Whether or not they're good is irrelevant. They just don't go anywhere. So he's saying that everyone's like, well, now we're starting to see such an oversaturation because everyone was like, oh, indie's doing great, I'll make an indie game. And now everyone's disappointed because it's so oversaturated, and that's why it's not, that's why these games aren't doing so well. But his point was like, maybe it's always been like that. Maybe we kind of jumped the gun on that assumption.
I don't know. I think it's more accessible now to make games. It's not as hard to get the tools to make a game and then distribute it. So I think there is a higher saturation in the market, but I think even the average games are usually worth playing. But again, yeah, you can do everything right and make the best game ever. And if you don't get it in the right hands with somebody who can network it, Doesn't matter. No one's gonna know about it.
Well, I think people just need to do their research. I mean, there's a lot of people who just buy on the fly, and I never do that. I will actually try and hunt down YouTube videos or any kind of content I can see somebody playing this game before I actually make a purchase. But there are a lot of people out there who are basically, I mean, I've got a thing called Game Guru, okay, and it's basically a gaming engine where you can actually create your own FPS game, and you can create a game within 20 minutes. Putting all the stuff down, get your characters where you want them, boom, you got a game.
No.
And you can literally, I swear, it takes 20 minutes, you know. And
nothing you create in 20 minutes is worth playing.
but people are taking those and uploading them and trying to sell them and trying to make them.
That's not right. That's
that's
learning
what's saturating.
utility.
That's what's saturating, and then they put it up as early access so that people will buy it and give it a chance. I think that, you know, a great example of an early access game that is an incredible game to buy right now is Empyrean. It's an early access game, but it's playable. It's 100% playable. There's you know, there's glitches here and there sometimes, but most of the time it's a good game. Then you got games like, I'm trying to think. There's a lot of. The reason why I can't think of them right now is because seriously, I just pass those by because they're not ready to be bought yet. I mean, they're so bad, they're just not ready to be bought. And I think indie developers, need to have a good base game to put on Steam as early access, and then people will play it, and then it'll self-promote itself. People will put great reviews for it or whatever, and it should take off. But you get some of these game developers who put out a game way before its time, before it can even, and they stress this is early access. But why would I want to pay, you know, $19.99 for an early access game that I can't even try? It's not even a good trial. It's terrible. I think developers need to just wait, get the game playable, and then put it out there. And I think that's really what the problem is the oversaturation is with all these game developers who make games in 20 minutes and stick it out there as early access, and then we got all these indie games all over the place.
I can see that. I think something he mentioned in that video is that the Steam requirements for getting your game on the store have gone down quite a bit. It used to be a lot more difficult to get it on the store, and now it's not as hard. So you have people who are working really hard on games, and like Dreadlow's saying, people who make them in just a few minutes and throw them out of the market. And both of those games are competing in the same playing field, and it's not really fair.
And if they don't do well in sales, then the developer just says, I'm not going to update it anymore. Even though it's an early access game, they're not doing well in sales. They got bad reviews or whatever, so they're just not even going to do anything. So all those people who spent money on the game already, if they've already played 2 hours of it, or you know what, or if a certain length of time went by waiting for updates, and then the updates don't come anymore, and they basically abandon the project, well, you just wasted your money because you got an unplayable early access game that they're never going to update.
You know what Steam ought to do? Early access. People buy it. Steam does not dole out that money until you officially release to you. And if you do not make an update to that game or get it closer to early release in, let's be generous, a year, it doles out all that money back as a refund to everybody who bought it, and it just pulls the game.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that would be brutal.
I really like that idea, though.
Yeah,
as a consumer, I love that idea. I think from a developer standpoint, it would be very hated.
But if you're constantly updating your game, then it wouldn't be an issue. Like, you don't change the requirements to get it in the store, but to stay in the store. And yeah, you wouldn't get the money for, you know, because I understand why they do early access is to fund the project. But if you see your total and what you're earning, maybe you'll be, you'll be encouraged to, like, I need to finish this so I can actually get that.
Yeah. It would, like, hang in front of you.
Well, they're already, see, here's the thing. They've already got a thing in place where early access developers have to update their game, I think they have 30 days to at least, give some kind of a, like a post or something saying, okay, we're doing this or whatever. But what's happening is these developers are getting smart. So what they'll do is they'll just put out like posts. They won't put out an update. They'll just put out posts once in a while to let everyone, okay, we've got this going and we'll get one out this week, hopefully, and then it doesn't happen. Then they go, okay, well, we ran into a little bit of snag, so we're going to do this and we'll put something out. It doesn't happen. And it just goes on, and they never come out with an update.
Well, I mean,
and so that's how they're getting away with it.
Well, that's why I said, like, okay, they can make the post and keep it in the store. But like I said, if you don't actually physically update, like, the actual game file in, I don't know, 3 months to a year, then you're done. Because obviously you're done. So they just refund it and then rip it out of the store. Because that stuff takes up data files and network storage and for Steam. And it gets rid of the saturation for garbage. And this would also be something Steam needs to require user input. Like, this game no longer updates. The official website said it's dead, blah, 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 blah.
Well, what if they did this? I mean, just allow anybody who's got an early access game, give them the option to
refund.
To refund,
Anytime.
period. No time,
Yeah.
Just if the developer's not updating, they're not doing anything, it shouldn't matter. We should have the option to refund. But as far as like Steam refunding it to everybody, I think is a little too much, because I think
well, if they didn't give that money to the game developer yet, then I think I don't want Steam to keep that money, because they didn't sell anything at that point.
There are people who still have the game in their library, and what if they like it? Yeah, what if they like it though, and they don't want that refund?
Okay,
they just want to keep the game. Well, if Steam gives a mass refund, that means they have to remove it from their library. Now that person doesn't have that game. Then you have the
sticky situation of like telling. Well, then what do you do with the money that? I mean, they could just be like, look, if you want a refund on this game, you have this amount of window to do it, because we're pulling it from the Steam library now.
Well, like Starforge, they stopped doing everything.
And if anything,
it's playable.
Just give it to the
I can go in the game and play it. I actually kind of like it. I think it's pretty cool, but it's been hated on. It's been hated on, and they've already moved on to make a new Starforge or some other game. I'm not sure what they're doing, but what I'm saying is that's a great example. I want to keep it. I like it, So I don't want them to automatically refund it and take it out of my library. I want to keep it.
But it's not a finished game.
It doesn't matter. I like it.
I can see.
You know what I mean? I can still do stuff in it. It's fun.
I can see both sides of this argument, and I can also see both sides of like a developer saying, "But I made a game and people are paying for it. Why can't I have that money?" Versus like people paying for it and not getting what they're promised.
And that's another thing too. Yeah. What if they use that money to help in developing the game?
And that's what I'm getting to. Steam explicitly said not that long ago, do not use early access to fund the project. That's not what it's for.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And that's why I think it would not be a shocker if Steam did something like what Jimmy's suggesting, because that would really establish to the developers, you cannot use early access to fund your project. As easy as it seems sometimes, you're hurting our consumers. So no, do not do that. So I like the idea. I think the middle ground between what Jimmy's saying and what Dreadlow's saying, I like the idea that you can get a refund while it's in early access. Anytime, no questions asked, you just hit the refund button, it leaves your library, and you get your money back. And that way, if the developer really screws up and just stops updating the game and people start to complain, Steam doesn't have to deal with it. They don't need to waste manpower on that, and people can just shut the hell up and get their money back.
Yeah.
And if they want it, if they like the current state it's in, maybe it's multiplayer and they're still enjoying it with their friends. Minecraft was super playable in beta. I mean, there are games out there that do well in beta and don't. Maybe people are fine with the amount of content. They just want to enjoy the game for a bit longer. Then don't get your refund. And I mean, the developer could even go. The developers can play the game the opposite way and go, I'm not going to update this game anymore, but we about get a bunch of refunds, and then they could just hit release. And then it can be a thing where Steam goes and says,
and then the money all goes into their account, and they get all that money.
Or the consumers can go, don't no, report this game. It should not be released because it's not finished. And then that whole...
But they've already done that, too, with a game that was released that was bad. I mean, Steam pulled it.
Yeah. I like that solution. I mean, that's the best solution I've heard to the problem. I mean, and it's a big, big problem. And that's just coming from, like, a consumer wasting money side of the argument. I'm thinking, like, Totalbiscuit's video was the failure of an indie platformer, and he focused on the fact that this game is a platformer, and the genre of platformers itself is doing well because of a couple of exceptions. But platformers, it's like, oh, platformers are all the rage right now, so all these developers make platformers, and then they don't do well. But really, it wasn't platformers that were all the rage. It was just like these couple that did really, really well. And that's not the genre that's in. So now all these people wasted their time, and they're sitting there furious that their game didn't sell well. And when he said that, I was like, that's interesting. Like, I didn't really think of it as like, ooh, platformers are totally in right now, you know? And then I started...
because they're not. And
yeah.
It's really hard to make a good platformer, but it's really easy to make a platformer.
Yeah. So I started to think, like, what is in? And I think still we're seeing an uprising in survival games, and a lot of people are willing to give those survival games a chance, which I think is a huge indicator that games like Empyrean are worth giving a shot. And people want to give it a shot, so that tells me that survival games are currently all the rage. And we're seeing some oversaturation there too, but we're seeing a lot of really good games come out of that saturation. Yes. And I can easily, like, pick out the survival games on Steam and like hold them in my hands and go, here's all the survival games, which one do I want to try? The platformers, I don't have enough hands. Like, there are just too many. They're everywhere. It's just constant stream of platformers every 5 seconds coming out, it seems. So I think there's less survival games, and I think they're the stronger bet for an indie developer, but they're also like people trying to say, oh, well, Minecraft did well, so I'm going to make the next Minecraft. And I don't think it's about that. I think people have been looking for an innovative way to take a survival game and make it even better. And Empyreon's a great example. I mean,
right.
If you don't know what Empyreon is, our friend Weencast, who was on the show last time, he just did a whole series on it. It's a lot of fun. You crash land on a planet, and you have this like escape pod. It has your crafting stuff in it. It has some basic survival materials. You got to power that thing, and then you can use it to craft. And eventually you start to like build up your mining supplies and getting things. Eventually you can build a base. Eventually you can build a ship, and in real time fly off the planet to another planet. And it's not like you fly off the planet and it transitions you. You fly off the planet, and then you end up in orbit, and then you like fly to another planet. I don't know if you end up in orbit, but you know what I mean. Like, you can just fly a ship. And
yeah, you end up floating in space.
Yeah.
You could build a space station out there and everything. It's awesome.
It's really cool. Like, that's the kind of thing people want to see.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is like something like Empyreon coming out in early access. That's a perfect example of a good early access game to get into, because if they never update it ever again, it's a game. You know, you get on with your friends, everything is good, you know, but they're constantly updating it. I mean, every couple weeks, every week they update it. So
here's one of the hypotheticals I wanted to ask. Do you think as a developer, you would find it a burden to constantly update one game instead of making a new game? Which I think is a choice developers have to make. Personally.
No.
You don't think
I
that'd
would
be a
rather
burden?
update a game than start over.
Okay.
Well, I think that developers update their game anyway. They're just giving us an opportunity as early access to see what they've updated.
I'm talking about after it's released. Like,
after it's released.
Just a game, like Minecraft, for example. Minecraft is a lot less popular now than it was a couple of years ago. And I think we're all seeing that. It's definitely popular still, no doubt about that. But the updates that come out, my server's a really great example of this. When an update comes out, everyone seems to come back to the server for a bit because we update the server. But as soon as people have played through all the new content and kind of built some new bases and stuff, they kind of lose interest again. And I think it's because, you know, those developers, they made Minecraft. Minecraft is a game. It stands on its own two legs. It doesn't need more updates if we wanted to just leave it where it is. But in order to keep it interesting, it needs more updates. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, what if games just, after a while, said, we're done updating, and they just moved on and made a different game? Because I feel like there are so many games already, and it's hard to just play one for so long. It's easy to do when you find one you love, but it's hard to, like, let's say you only have time to play a couple hours of games a week, you know? Are you going to get addicted to just one while all these other franchises keep releasing sequels, and you're like, I really want to play that? I mean, and wouldn't it frustrate you as a player to be like, okay, I'm ready to play this new game, and then your current game you love comes out with an update, and you're like, now I'm torn. You know? I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth, but I think because there's so many games, we should take a different look at how we produce them. Either make less games and keep updating them, or make less updates. Just make games that stand alone more often, and then we can keep on with our habit of making too many games.
Well, I think as a money factor, that would be a reason for
Profitable.
a game developer to develop a new game for obvious reasons. You know, they're giving these constant updates to their current game, but they're not getting any money from that.
No,
They're
no,
giving those out.
DLC is.
Oh, you're talking about DLC. I was
Well,
we're talking.
Either way,
what
free updates
you'd
or
have to
not.
do is create a great base game, put your story in, do it the MMO like expansion pack. Go back to those days with even DLC for mini stuff, and make the prices reasonable. People will throw money at their favorite games when you throw out good content,
Yeah,
and that always developers make more money off of good content. And it's like, okay, the sales they aren't big enough for us, or this game is tanked. So, you know, we'll do one last hurrah or whatever, wrap it up, and then, you know, move on to the next
and that's what happens with like World of Warcraft, you know, is when things start to decline in player base, they time it just right to get that new expansion out, and then all the flocks of people that were playing it come back again, and they're there for a while, play through it a little bit, and then it's just in time for the next expansion. So they constantly keep that level of player base going. But if they didn't do any updates and they just left it like it was, it would slowly tank, but it would eventually tank.
Well, because you could do it all then.
And Minecraft is a great example too. They haven't done an update in I don't know how long. They're just now coming out with some snapshots, but it's starting to dwindle in player base. And I think what they did was phenomenal. For them to continually update a game without charging anybody, for one thing, is amazing. But they were doing that, and that was what people were like really getting enthused at. They were waiting for the next update. Plus the fact that we can mod it, and that makes a big deal too. So, with that and them going to Microsoft, I don't know if that had any effect on them, but I just know that things aren't going quite as well with Minecraft as it used to. And I think we were getting updates. Remember, every month we'd get a new update.
Yeah. It was
And
frustrating
it was like
for running a
constant.
server.
Yeah, it was very frustrating for having a server, but they added some really cool stuff. This next update, 1.9, is going to have some incredible stuff. So I know that people are just going to flock to it to mess around with it. But
it won't take long before they lose interest again.
Yeah, and that's why they got to keep, just like World of Warcraft, keep coming out with those expansions, and so that's what's going to keep you going. Or make a new game and start from scratch, come out with something new, something else that they can start building on again. And then when that one starts to tank, they build another game, and I mean, that's the process of developing. You can't stick with a game forever. I mean, it's just impossible.
As players, we can't.
I think that's what Windows 10 version of Minecraft. Unfortunately, it locks out anybody else who doesn't have Windows 10, which I think is kind of unfair. But other than that, I think it's a transition to a new version, and I don't know where they're going with this, but
I think it's too late. I mean,
Yeah.
Minecraft has had its day. It's had its day in the sun, and we're going to start seeing it, continue to dwindle down. I think it's going to last a lot longer than a lot of games we've seen. I want to say in that category, but for me, that was like the first survival game I ever played. You know,
Oh,
I
it was
haven't played anything like it,
a great game.
but yeah, it's always going to like hold a special place in a lot of people's hearts. I think that Minecraft opened my eyes to how many games that are actually out there that I'm missing because I played it so much and I hadn't been that addicted to a game in a long time. I've never been more addicted to a game than I was to Minecraft. And
Right.
I think the closest I came to that was RuneScape, but RuneScape even was boring enough to where I could leave it alone and play other games that were coming out. Maybe it was partially because I started doing YouTube videos and this kind of stuff, but it's so hard. It became so hard for me to keep up and play new games. And I'm not even talking about indie games. I'm talking about AAA titles, the games I was looking forward to. You know, I still haven't beaten Assassin's Creed Black frickin' Flag, and we're coming up to another new Assassin's Creed game, and I have the newest one, what was it, After Black Flag? I have that one.
Oh.
The one that didn't do very well.
Unity?
Yes. I have
You
that.
bought it?
No, I got it as for Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Like, I wanted to play it, despite all the problems. I still really was enjoying the franchise, but I just didn't have the time to even play the last one. And so we have franchises churning out games every year, and now all these games that come out that are successful in the AAA world turn into a franchise, and they all need to have sequels every year because numbers.
I just wish
It's
they would
just
stop
too
that.
much. Yeah. It really is. It comes down to people. I as a gamer need to learn what kind of games I want to play. What's my genres? I got to pick a few. I can't pick too many, and I really need to learn my favorite genres of games so it can help me in my purchasing. And developers who make these indie games need to learn to target people like me who pick out those genres. Like, I only play survival games and first-person shooters, you know, or whatever. Sandbox and shooters. That's me. So unless you're making a sandbox or shooter, I mean, we got to categorize these people. We got to figure out where they stand. I think maybe that's something for Steam to do. Maybe Steam could start to help people categorize themselves. What kind of gamer are you?
I think they already do that. That's like with your recommendations. Steam just kind of looks at what you got already, what you've spent a lot of time on, and makes recommendations based on that.
But Steam recommendations, like a lot of things, base themselves off of...
It is not very good.
Exactly.
But
it
tries.
It's like when you watch a video on YouTube. I watched a video about an abandoned theme park just because it looked interesting. Like, YouTube recommended it for whatever reason. And now half my recommendations are abandonment videos of buildings that are abandoned.
Same thing.
Oh my god, YouTube, Google.
I watched
just
one
latches
video.
onto that one weird video you watch, and it's like, oh, yeah.
That's how Steam is.
I watched one video on Flat Earth, and that's all I get now.
It's ridiculous. YouTube's really bad about it, but Steam is like that too, where if you buy a game of a certain genre, suddenly all your recommendations, no matter if those are good games or bad, they're showing up on your front page of Steam as if they're the bee's knees. And you click on them and they're like, reviews, mostly negative.
Yeah.
You're like, why is this recommended? Why would I want a game that's getting such terrible reviews? Why aren't you recommending me games that are getting positive reviews? What?
Oh, well, remember how last show we were talking about shower with your dad? Or
that other one, the kitchen one, was terrible.
No, not the kitchen one, but the shower with dad, or what was that?
Yeah, shower with your dad.
Okay, yeah, that got gifted a howler.
Oh, cool.
Like 2 days after the show, completely unrelated. But it was just like, I couldn't stop laughing.
See, those games now, that as crazy and kind of stupid as they are, I mean, like for instance, there was one that was called, what is it? The how to pet your goat, or
Goat Simulator, or
no, not Goat Simulator. It was
it wasn't just Goat Petting Simulator or something like that.
Yeah, Goat Petting Simulator or something like that. As stupid as that is, I'd pay $1.99 for the thing, you know, because it's a novelty. I think games like that are fun, and for them to put them out there for $1, some of them are free, and just put them out there just for the fun of it. Get to know the developer a little bit and whatever. They just throwing it out there as a freebie. I think is great. I think that right there kind of like adds excitement. But when you put out a game that is unplayable and you're charging $19.99 for it, it's just come on.
I don't know. I think Steam can do a better job of recommending us things. I think they should put it in our own hands. I think it's something marketers might be afraid to do, but it's something I think they should try. Great example, Hulu ads. When they ask you, is this ad relevant to you? You're like, no, I don't have whatever disease you're advertising. It's not relevant to me. So you tell it no, but it keeps showing you that anyway. It's like if you say no to everything, I want to say all ads are not relevant to me because I don't care what you're trying to sell me. I'm not going to buy it. They're going to have to show you something. So it's a system that doesn't really work. But if they just said, okay, it just gave me like when I started Hulu, when I started the website, like what kind of things do you like? And they find a way to categorize me, and they would only show me ads tailored to me. I think they would have a much stronger campaign across the board. Because now if you're going to advertise games like Titanfall, I was seeing a ton of ads for Titanfall, and I was seeing them on Twitch. I'm on Twitch, so Twitch, as smart as they are, only played games that were relevant to Twitch viewers. Well, Hulu viewer can be into all kinds of stuff. So if I get to tell Hulu, hey, I like video games, then I'm only going to see ads for video games. If it's like, you need to pick 4 things off this list, what do you like? Then you'll only see ads in that category. I think marketers are scared of that because the whole point of ads is to show people things they wouldn't have otherwise seen. But at the same time, I don't have whatever disease your medication is trying to sell me.
A nice, savvy algorithm that is like 60% things that are totally like right up your alley.
Yeah.
And the other 40% is like black sheep. We're going to take a shot in the dark.
I have to admit, I've been using Microsoft Edge, and there's no ad blocker for that, so there's no way for me to block anything. There has been ads, some game ads and stuff that I've seen for games, and I've clicked on them. So whatever they're doing is right, because and once in a while I get the stupid ads like you're talking about that I don't really want to know about. But once in a while I get that one good ad that really makes a lot of sense, and they make me click on it just to check it out.
Yeah. I think Steam would have better success in that category if they just let me choose the genres of games I mostly play. Don't worry about what's in my library. I have all kinds of stuff in there because I'll try new things on my own.
I think they should look at the hours you've played in in your library.
That's a fair way to do it too. But is there anything wrong with letting me choose? Like, would that be so bad if they just gave me a button that was like...
I think maybe just because sometimes people like things that are kind of out of the norm, and you kind of want to spotlight things to them that are out of the norm. I think maybe you list yourself under like 3 categories that you typically are always going to like, and then they look at your hours played on, like, say, the top 20% of your games, as long as it was over, like, let's say 5 hours. And then, also what are your friends playing, or people who kind of have the same sort of profile as you recognized by the computer. They could get better targeted things. And you also could find better, like, black sheep ads, too. Like, a lot of people who have the same profile as you, but they kind of like something a little out of the blue, really like this. And you haven't, as far as we know, you haven't even looked at it. So here, we're going to put this in front of you because there's a good chance you'll like it, too.
I mean, you could at least say, would you buy a game if you saw the reviews were mostly negative? And be like, nope, I sure wouldn't, so stop showing me.
Well, most people won't, though.
I get,
why are they on like the top?
How many times do I have to see Forsaken Uprising?
Yes, that's the one I was trying to think of just now.
Oh my God.
Like, that game doesn't do well. People don't like that game. And
no,
yet
they've
it's
got it all the way
always
down to
there.
what, $1 now? Or 99?
They couldn't give me $1 to play that game. And there it is. In my face.
Always at the top of the list.
It's just,
I don't understand.
It looks like a piece of crap. And people have said it's a piece of crap, and yet it's the top recommended game for you, Dan. We know you love Forsaken Uprising because you don't own it. After being shown 100 times, you still don't own it. So we have to keep trying. Like,
Well, maybe
no.
they should just put a "I'm not interested in this" button, and Steam never. Not that they block it from your store, but they never put it on your advertised page anymore.
There is an I'm not interested button.
Better games that are out there that I would like to see at the top of my list. You know.
Yeah.
Not that one.
There is an I'm not interested button, but
is there? Okay.
Is it only on Greenlight is my question. I'm loading Steam now.
I think it's only on Greenlight. Like, I don't think you can do that on the store page.
Let me just hit Rocket League. I'm not interested. There it is. So I can click I'm not interested. However, I have to click on the game first. Maybe that's where it is. Like, the button should be right there on the front page. What Sky Shines Bedlam. I don't know what that is. I mean, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but what if I already know what it is? I'm not interested. Click.
Well,
yeah.
That's true, but if you click on the store page, you probably at least watched the promo video or at least read the blurb. So, because they don't want you to just be like, no, I don't want to see this anymore.
Why are they showing me stuff I already own?
The argument's shot because
there it is.
There is a not interested button, so I guess I can't.
We got to get this, Dan.
What?
Forsaken Uprising. It's 99 cents now.
Come on.
I swear to God, it's at the top of my list. I'm not lying to you.
The Misery Olympics.
Are they paying for that? What? I don't understand.
Misery Noobs.
I want Rocket League.
Oh, man.
I want it real bad.
Ooh, I can pre-purchase Fallout 4.
Oh. Don't. But I can't wait till it comes out. But still, don't pre-purchase games. It's a bad habit. It's bad.
But sometimes you get so nice. Yeah, I know. I'm buying into the whole rewards with pre-purchases. And
that was a topic someone asked me to discuss. I can't even remember. I'm so sorry to whoever it was. They asked not that long ago that we should discuss the Deus Ex reward system, their tiered reward system for pre-purchasing the game.
Tiered? Oh my god!
So now they're doing the MMO thing.
Oh,
where they're having two. It's terrible.
It's
we don't
bad.
have the time to really delve into that.
No, we don't. But it's bad. Like the website has like on the front page, it's a tiered reward system. Help unlock tiers and choose your own rewards. So what happens is people pre-order the game, and the whole point is to get people so excited about these tiered rewards that the game opens up more and more pre-order bonuses as people sign up for pre-orders.
So everybody gets more everybody gets more rewards based on how many people have pre-ordered?
Yes.
Oh, I get it.
It's
a hype thing.
BioShock did that. BioShock Infinite.
Actually,
yes.
That's pretty cool. I don't mind that at all.
I think it's terrible, but what really sucks about it is as you get later into the reward system, or let's say a tier unlocks, you get to choose a reward for you. You don't get everything. You have to choose, do you want like this agent skin or this agent skin?
Is it like a community vote or just
no?
Like
it's personally for you. So they're basically the content is there, and this was another Totalbiscuit video. The content is there, but you're not allowed to have it. You would get to choose what you want.
Well, chances are they're just gonna sell it all later, so you get like half of it all if you pre-order.
But we don't know they're gonna do that. We can assume what we want.
I know we can assume what we want, but I've seen it time and time and time again. It'll be like a purchase package later on when like the first real big DLC drops out. At
50%, you unlock Tier 3. Guess what Tier 3's is for everyone? An extra mission. It's a whole...
that's a spy.
It's a whole... It's too much of an inside joke, Dreadlow. It's a whole mission you can't play unless everyone pre-orders this game. And it's basically forcing people to like become advocates for a game we don't even know is good yet.
So that it's kind of making those pre-purchasers go out and try to promote their games.
Yes.
Yeah, but nobody's going to pre-purchase the game unless they were already interested in it anyway and fans of the previous ones. Like, people don't really do that.
But what if it's not good? I mean, what if your friend convinces you, like, oh my gosh, it's the best game
Well,
ever,
we've seen it
they
before.
they show you the prequels to it, and they show you all the stuff. But what if it's not good? I mean,
Well, it's a AAA title, though. Like, usually a not good AAA title is at least okay, usually.
SimCity.
Assassin's Creed Unity.
But no, but problems with those aside, were they really, truly, honestly a bad game?
It's debatable. I mean, I didn't play Unity yet. I know SimCity. I liked SimCity after they finally fixed the stupid thing, but it took forever. You know, I was even on that bandwagon of like, maybe I want my money back. You know, maybe I don't want this game anymore because I'm gonna just be interested in something else by the time they fix it. It's just like we were just talking about. Games are fleeting. There's too many games coming out. So I don't know. I am totally on the side of things where we should stop encouraging pre-ordering. And this is like taking that concept of pre-ordering and bending it over and really taking advantage of it.
Yeah, those are kind of bad.
At 100%, you get 4-day early release. Once they reach 100% of their goal for pre-orders, you get 4 days of early access to the game. If you want a more convincing argument, again,
That's a really shitty pre-release bonus, in my opinion.
It really is.
it is, isn't it?
Like, you don't get anything extra. Like, I couldn't wait those 4 extra days. I mean, I enjoy Netflix instant view. I'm willing to wait months to see a movie that went out of theaters and stuff. Like, after the DVD release, I'm patient. I can wait.
Yeah.
I actually give me something tangible because I'm paying probably premium, if not a few extra bucks, depending on where you pre-order. You know, something at least tangible digital-wise.
It's just so dumb. Like, you get 4-day early access to it, provided you and all your buddies pre-order, and so you pre-order it hoping to get that grand prize, and then what happens if it doesn't make it there? And it's like, I shouldn't even pre-ordered this. That's annoying. And then you get it. What if the game sucks? And then you're like, oh my god, like I spent $60 on this. So, and then there's going to be DLC and all kinds of stuff. Games just I think for the reasons that games are fleeting and there are so damn many of them, pre-ordering is just like a bad idea for consumers. You know, wait until the game comes out. Wait till there's some reviews on it first.
Well, it used to be
Don't
pre-order
just
was
spend your money.
Yeah, pre-order was for the stores, so that they know how many copies to order.
Yeah,
to bring
you're
into
right.
their store.
It wasn't
that
even
was
supposed
the
to be like
purpose of
this.
Yeah, pre-orders for that. This is a digital download. I mean, you can, 100 people can download it. You know, they don't have to have it. They don't have no stock.
It just there's no limit. I mean, the one thing I love is being able to download things early. I like that feature, and that's the only true benefit to me for pre-ordering a game, because I'm gonna want to play it the second it comes out. But if I can't download it, in time for release, then I got to buy it when it comes out and then wait 4 hours for it to download. That's the benefit I see. When a new game comes out, you want to play it right away. You want to rip open the packaging and play it. Yeah. So that is why I would pre-order something. Other than that, I never even care about the bonuses to begin with. They're always something stupid, like another skin for your character. Look, I'm only going to play this game until I beat it and maybe check out some extra content.
It's the same thing with the collector's editions of games. You used to be able to go into GameStop. You go in there and you get the collector's edition. You might get like a T-shirt or whatever they might offer inside this thing with the soundtrack or whatever. So now, when you get a digital version, you can get a digital collector's edition.
Yeah, like,
so everything is digital. It's like, what? Come on, guys. You're milking a cow here.
Well, we have to wrap up. But it has been fun.
Yeah.
I am enjoying having discussions and not just talking about the news.
Yeah.
But we would love to hear your feedback. That would probably be a good place to start for questions we have for you guys. What do you think of the new format of the show? Let us know on Twitter. Let us know on YouTube. Wherever you would like to comment, however you feel the best way to get that information to us is. go ahead. And don't forget about our Twitter contest. And don't worry if you don't have Twitter. Next week, we're going to try a different way to enter the contest. You won't even need Twitter. So this week, though, we'll be giving away a game. We'll announce the winner on the next show. Just be sure to tweet at EverythingNoob. Tell us what you've been playing with the hashtag noobingout. And with that, we will see you next week. Noobs out. I love it.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Everything Noob podcast. Hit up everythingnoob.com for our show notes, blogs, YouTube and Twitch channels, previous episodes, and even a t-shirt store. Please game responsibly, and we'll see you next week.